أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم إن الله وملائكته يصلون على النبي يا أيها الذين آمنوا صلوا عليه وسلموا تسليما अल्लाहु अकबर अल्लाहु अकबर अल्लाहु अकबर अल्लाहु अकबर अशहदु अल्ला इलाहा इल्लल्लाह अशहदु अल्ला इलाहा इल्लल्लाह अशहदु अन्ना मुहम्मद अशहदु अन्ना मुहम्मद रसूलुल्लाह अशहदु अन्ना अलिय्यन अमीरुल मोमिनीन व इमामुल मुत्तकीन अलिय्यन वलियुल्लाह अशहदु अन्ना अमीरुल मोमिनीन अलिय्यन हुज्जतुल्लाह हय्या अलस सलाह हय्या अलस सलाह हय्या अलल फलाह हय्या अलल फलाह हय्या अला खैरुल अमल हय्या अला खैरुल अमल अल्लाहु अकबर अल्लाहु अकबर ला इलाहा इल्लल्लाह ला इलाहा इल्लल्लाह अल्लाहुम्मा अजल कल्बी बारों अमली सारों ऐशी कारों रिज़्की दारों औलादी इब्रारों अजली दावे कब्र बे नबी का मोहम्मद सल्लल्लाहु अलैहि वसल्लम मुस्तकरम वकरारुन बेरहमतिका या रहमर राहिमीन ने भी हैं पूरे मेहमान हो गए चलो पूरे ये तो आपको सबका पैंतन पाक है बैठ का वास्ते से सनी पूरे ये तो अस्सलाम वालेकुम
السلام عليكم ورحمة الله. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين، وصلى الله على سيدنا ونبينا العبد المؤيد والرسول المسدد المصطفى الأمجد المحمود الأحمد أبي القاسم محمد،
اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد
وعلى أهل بيته الطيبين الطاهرين المعصومين المكرمين. قال الله الحكيم في محكم كتابه ومتقن خطابه: وكأي من نبي قاتل معه ربيون كثير فما وهنوا لما أصابهم في سبيل الله وما ضعفوا وما استكانوا والله يحب الصابرين. أوصيكم عباد الله ونفسي بتقوى الله ونظم أمركم. We are close to Arba'in of Imam al-Hussein salawatullahi alayh, and as you see that Ziyarat al-Arba'in is the sign of mu'min according to a hadith from Imam al-Hasan al-Askari salawatullahi alayh. The hadith says that alamatul mu'min khams, mu'min has 5 signs. Salatu ihda wa khamseen, mu'min will offer daily 51 rak'at of salat or prayer. Wa ziyaratul arba'in wa takhattum bil yamin, putting ring in the right hand. وَتَعْفِيرُ الْجَبِينِ. تَعْفِيرُ الْجَبِينِ means that when you do sajda, you are doing sajda on the soil or the dust of Imam al-Hussein salawatullahi alayhi. وَالْجَهْرُ بِبِسْمِ اللَّهِ الرَّحْمَنِ الرَّحِيمِ. When you say Bismillah in namaz, you say it loudly. So let's go with Ziyarat al-Arba'in. I think that Ziyarat al-Arba'in, that Salam Rahmatullah wa Barakatuh, doesn't matter, if you can go physically to do the Ziyarat of Imam al-Hussein salawatullahi alayh, or you can do the Ziyarat from actually your place, which is far away from the shrine of Imam al-Hussein salawatullahi alayh. But the essence of ziyarat is that you are remembering Imam Hussein salawatullahi alayh. This is the purpose. Not only remembering, remembering is a means, it is not the goal. It means that by remembering of Imam Hussein alayhi salam, we are trying to get connected to the cause of Imam al-Hussein salawatullahi alayhi. We are remembering Hussein because we want to remember the cause of Imam al-Hussein alayhi salam. We have to remember that we have to follow Imam al-Hussein alayhi salam. We remember Imam al-Hussein because we have to remind ourselves that we have to live like Imam al-Hussein salawatullahi alayhi. Because as one of the scholars said, that in this world you are either like Hussein alayhi salam, following the manner of Imam al-Hussein alayhi salam, that you are offering everything you have for the cause of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, a sacrifice, or you are like Zainab salawatullahi alayha, who was conveying the message of Imam Hussein alayhi salam. Imam Hussein alayhi salam offered blood to promote the cause of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Zainab conveyed the message of this blood. And then, if you are not like Hussein and you are not like Zainab, be careful to not be like Yazid. This is the, you cannot have the fourth option here. Either you have to be like Hussein alayhi salam, or like Zainab salawatullahi alayha, or like Yazid. So we don't want to be like Yazid, inshallah rahman. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, as we recite in ziyarat of Imam al-Hussein, وَثَبِّتْ لِي قَدَمَ صِدْقٍ عِنْدَكَ مَعَ الْحُسَيْنِ alayhi salam. And it is not enough just to say, I am Shia. The Shia is the one who is truthful in his claim, who is sadiq, who is actually his life representing the cause of Imam al-Hussein salawatullahi alayhi. And when there is the time to offer sacrifice, you are ready. When you say that, Ya laytana kunna ma'akum fanafuza fawzan azima, you are addressing Imam Hussein, I wish I were with you, so I was getting the great victory. What it means that you are ready to offer, sacrifice. You see, I was talking about one of the companions of Imam al-Hussein alayhi salam, day of Ashura, when Imam salawatullah alayhi was trying to offer Salatul Jama'ah, two persons came forward to protect this Salatul Jama'ah. And they stood in front of Imam al-Hussein salawatullah alayhi salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. And they were looking for the arrows. When the arrows were coming from the left side, they were leaning towards the left side in order to take the arrows. When the arrows were coming from the right side, they were leaning towards the right side. There is a story. One of the ulama said that, I was thinking about the sacrifice of these people. I said, this is not a big deal. Everybody can offer this type of sacrifice, to protect Imam al-Hussein alayhi salam. And, he's in front of you. Definitely you are going to protect Imam Hussein salawatullah. And said he saw a dream, a vision, that he is in Karbala. He is in Karbala, and there is the time for Salatul Jama'ah, and Imam wanted to do the Salat, and he said, who is coming to be in front of us to protect the Salatul Jama'ah? I said, hey, I would be the person, because he had the thinking in his wake time that, this is not the big deal. So he said, I'm going to be, the person who is protecting you. And he said that I stood in front of Imam Hussein alayhi salam, and suddenly I saw an arrow is coming towards Imam Hussein alayhi salam, and I was in front of him. I said, I leaned in order to not to take the arrow. So the arrow actually sat on the chest of Imam al-Hussein salawatullah alayhi. Then Imam Hussein said, I don't see any companions better than my companions. And again there was another arrow, And I actually tried to not take the arrow. So Imam repeated this statement. So you see that this is actually the message that many people, they claim that Ya laytana kunna ma'akum. We wish that we were with you, but in reality, they are doing something differently. That's why the Quran says that we do the testing in order to see who is ready to offer sacrifice for the good cause. أحسب الناس أن يتركوا أن يقولوا آمنا وهم لا يفتنون. We think that they are just going to claim that they are faithful and we are not going to test their faith. No, this is the sunnah of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. This is the way of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We did the testing for the people before you. وَلَقَدْ فَتَنَّا الَّذِينَ مِنْ قَبْلِكُمْ. And so this is actually the message of Ziyaratul Arba'in is, always a reminder to us that we have to be like Hussein alayhi salam. It is not just, as we said, there is a hadith, I don't know if this hadith is authentic or not. And I recited to you this hadith from Imam Zainul Abidin alayhi salam. Imam alayhi salam doesn't need us to worship him. Imam wants us to follow him. Some people, they are like worshiping imams, respecting imam. You remember one of the ulama said that, he was in the haram of Imam Hussein alayhi salam, and he noticed some people, they are wearing very special clothes and they are coming from very far away countries. And when it was the time for salat, they didn't do salat towards Qibla. They did salat towards the grave of Imam Hussein alayhi salam. And said, we have to do, this is what we have to do. We have to do, salat towards the Qibla of Imam Hussein alayhi salam, not towards the Kaaba. Yes, Imam Hussein is the representative of Kaaba, but we cannot change the rule of Islam, because this would be against the unity and this would be bid'at. This was the cause of Imam Hussein, goal of Imam Hussein, to remove the bid'at and to revive the sunnat. Is that right? He said, you don't see the bid'at is revived and the sunnat is dead. So, as Imam Zainul Abidin said, this type of respect, I'm respecting Imam Hussein, that's why I'm going to do salat towards the grave of Imam Salawatullah. No. Imam Zainul Abidin said, Salawatullah wa barakatuh, أحبونا حب الإسلام ولا تحبونا حب الأصنام. No, don't love us like the idols. Love us according to Salawatullah wa barakatuh, to the prescription of Islam. That's why the Quran says, if you love Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, you have to follow Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa alihi wa sallam. كنتم تحبون الله فاتبعوني يحببكم الله. Then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will love you. So, Ziyarat al-Arba'in actually is the pledge. You are making pledge to Imam Hussein alayhi salam that you are going to support his cause. You are going to support the word of La ilaha illallah. You are going to support the seerat of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa alihi wa sallam. Not only just remember Imam Hussein and cry for Imam Hussein. Yes, crying over Imam Hussein is good, but it would be good if this crying is effective. If this crying will lead to a result. What is the result? The result is that we feel that we are connected to Imam al-Hussein salawatullahi alayhi. You see that? You know, because we have to be, Imam alayhi salam was the one who is inspiring the change in the people, in the societies. And if there is no change in our hearts towards the truth, then crying over Imam Hussein alayhi salam would not have any effect. You see that we are doing the salat. You see what the Quran says? The Quran says, "Inna salata tanha anil fahsha'i wal munkar." Because salat has the quality, the capability. If you do it accordingly, the salat will help you to be on sirat al-mustaqim, to be away from the shameful acts. You are going to be away from the fahsha, wal munkar, and evil. You know, it is said that, many people, they do salat, but at the same time, they do the sins. It means that this salat is not the real salat, because the real salat will prevent the fahsha and munkar. Inna salata tanha anil fahsha wal munkar. So you see that after each salat, do you feel any change in yourself or no? Assalamu alaikum wa barakatuh. When you do the salat, and after salat, you see that yourself, is there any change? Anything happened to me after I offered the salat? Am I a better person? Am I ready to do the right thing? Am I ready to avoid this wrong? For example, I'm thinking to do something wrong, then I offer salat. Would this salat prevent you from doing this wrong or not? If not, then this is not the salat. This is the salat which the Quran says, وَيْلٌ لِلْمُصَلِّينَ. Wail. Woe. And actually the people who are praying, because this praying is not the praying which will prevent the man from committing the sin, from not doing the evil. So inshallah, we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to help us to be among of those who are offering ziyarat of Imam al-Hussein salawatullahi alayhi. And, being among of those who are following the manner of Imam al-Hussein salawatullahi alayhi. That's why, it was said that even when you do the sajda in namaz, in salat, you do the sajda on the turbat of Imam al-Hussein, salawatullahi wa barakatuh, on the dirt of Imam al-Hussein. Why? Because Imam Hussein alayhi salam, is the symbol of sacrifice. When you do namaz on the turbat of Imam al-Hussein, you are, during the namaz, reminding yourself to the importance of sacrifice. That's right? Every time you do sajda, you remember the sacrifice of Imam Hussein. And also remember that the sacrifice of Imam Hussein alayhi salam was for the cause of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, not to get the power, not for worldly positions. It is Imam Hussein alayhi salam is part of Tawheed. Part of Tawheed means that, paying homage to Imam Hussein alayhi salam, paying homage to the cause of Imam Hussein alayhi salam is Tawheed itself. As Imam al-Riza salawatullah alayhi, said when he actually was talking about the Tawheed, the hadith of Silsilat al-Zahab, that when he said, Kalimatu la ilaha illallah hisni, faman dakhala fi hisni amina min azabi, whoever actually, not just say la ilaha illallah, no, practice la ilaha illallah. Whoever practices la ilaha illallah, he would enter into fortress of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And he would be saved from the punishment of God. But then Imam said, بِشَرْطِهَا وَشُرُوتِهَا. What is the shart? وَأَنَا مِن شُرُوتِهَا. It means that imamat is part of Tawheed. You cannot separate imamat from Tawheed. Because when you paying homage to Imam al-Hussein alayhi salam, you are paying homage to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala himself. Wilayat of Imam al-Hussein is wilayat of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Why? Because Imam al-Hussein salawatullahi alayhi represents the attributes of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He is the manifestation of Sifatullah. مظهر لصفات الله. مظهر ومظهر. Mazhar is manifestation. Muzhar means showing, constantly showing the attributes of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That's why we do salat on the turbat of Imam al-Hussein alayhi salam. I said this many times. You see that it is mustahab. When you say Allahu Akbar, you raise your actually hands towards your neck, towards your actually face. What is the meaning of this? You are raising manhar. That's why the surah of Al-Kawthar, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, Inna a'tainaka al-Kawthar fasalli li rabbika wanhar. You know, one meaning of wanhar means that to offer sacrifice. Is that right? But it was also said another meaning for wanhar means that whenever you are saying Allahu Akbar, you are raising your hands towards actually your face in order to remind yourself and to show that you are ready to offer sacrifice for the cause of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That's why it is mustahab. Every time you say Allahu Akbar, you raise your hands too. You go to ruku, you say Allahu Akbar. You go to ruku. When you are raising your head from the ruku, you say Allahu Akbar. You are constantly pledging to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that you are ready to offer sacrifice like Imam al-Hussein salawatullahi alayhi. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. So we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to help all of us, inshallah rahman, to be Husseini in deed, not in words only. And that's why the Quran says, قَدْ أَفْلَحَ الْمُؤْمِنُونَ الَّذِينَ هُمْ فِي صَلَاتِهِمْ خَاشِعُونَ. Because what is the khushu'? Khushu' means humble, to be in the state of humbleness. What is the meaning of humbleness here before Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? Humbleness means that you are not ready to sacrifice Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for dunya. You know, many people, when they get in this challenge and testing of life, they fail. And the salat is helping us to do tazkiyah. قَدْ أَفْلَحَ مَنْ زَكَّاهَا. Is that right? Quran says, وَقَدْ خَابَ مَنْ دَسَّاهَا. You know, khaba in Arabic means failure. To fail the testing of when you are in the path of soul making. قد أفلح من تزكى وذكر اسم ربه فصلى. There is relation between tazkiyah, between soul making and offering salat. Salat will help us to have the state of khushu'. And that's why we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to have, the state of khushu' in salat. And their salat is salat when there is a state of khushu' in salat. Quran says some people, they are doing salat, salatihim sahun, they have the state of sahab, state of forgetfulness about the purpose of life. They forget, because when you are in salat, you have to remember, inna lillahi wa inna ilayhi raji'un. But if we are in a state of forgetfulness about this essence of life, that we are from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and we return to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, then we are in a state of sahun, as the Quran says. قد أفلح المؤمنون الذين هم في صلاتهم خاشعون. About 70 times the word of falah with many derivatives actually are repeated in the Quran. The word of falah. And that's why for salat you say in azan, hayya alal falah. Because one of the meanings of falah, as I said, is freedom. To be free from everything in this dunya, and you are attached only to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And this freedom is very important. If you want to make your soul if you want to make our souls in this world, we have to reach the state of falah, freedom from the lower passion, from nafsul ammarati bisu. Because if we are driven and our decisions are made by nafsul ammarati bisu, then our decisions would be wrong. We are not in a state of rushd, as the Quran says. You remember, this is one of the prayers in the Quran. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to have the state of rushd. Why we have to do this dua? Because every day how many decisions you are making? Have you thought that how many decisions you are making every day? And you just contemplate the end of the day. You just evaluate your decisions you made during the day. How many decisions you think were right, and how many decisions were wrong? And so the Quran says that's why you do dua. When you are getting close to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will help you to make right decision. وَمَنْ يَتَّقِ اللَّهِ يَجْعَلْ لَهُ فُرْقَانًا. This is if you have taqwa, then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will give you the taqwa, the furqan. Furqan is coming from the farq. Farq means that you are capable to make farq between wrong and right. This is the meaning of furqan. The opposite of furqan is Quran. Is that right? Quran is to collect, and furqan means to separate. Separate between haqq and batil, because you cannot have both of them. Either you are following the right. It cannot be like some people, they try to have both of them. One of the so-called companions of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he tried to have both, but he failed. In the battle of Siffin, He said that, Imam alayhi salam's namaz is the best salat, best namaz. I'm going to do the namaz with Imam Ali ibn Abi Talib. When the food was on the table, he said, Muawiyah's food is better than Imam Ali's food. Imam Ali was just providing a loaf of bread. But, Muawiyah food is so good. They were said that one of the type of sweets that Muawiyah liked so much is called kunafa. And still kunafa is popular in, Arabic countries. And also I was reading a book that he loved a type of sweet. It was made by pistachios and the brain of chicken. And this is actually, I don't know how this would be together, but this is what they said. He was inventing actually the type of a sweet that. That's why it was said he was mashallah rahman, overeating. And
Is it okay to eat kunafa?
yeah, definitely you can eat kunafa because definitely Yazid and Muawiyah were drinking water. You cannot say because Muawiyah was drinking water, we should not drink water. So this is the issue that he was going to. For the lunch, going to the camp of Muawiyah, for the salat to the camp of Ali ibn Abi Talib. And when the battle was there, he was saying that, وَالْفِرَارُ يَوْمَ الْحَرْبِ أَسْلَمُ. That, if you want the safety, you have to avoid both of them. See, he was actually avoiding both of them. But what the Quran says, you cannot have the haqq and batil together. قُلْ جَاءَ الْحَقِّ وَزَهَقَ الْبَاطِلِ إِنَّ الْبَاطِلَ كَانَ زَهُوقًا. When there is haqq, batil cannot stay. So inshallah we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to give us inshallah tawfiq to be inshallah always on the side of haqq inshallah. And inshallah rahman, in order to be on the side of haqq, we have to have the state of rushd as we do dua, رَبَّنَا آتِنَا مِن لَدُنْكَ رَحْمَةً وَهَيِّئْ لَنَا مِنْ أَمْرِنَا رَشَدًا. To have a state of rushd. Because when you have a state of rushd, you can make the right decision. How you can to have the state of rushd? You have to have taqwa. Because the taqwa will help us to have the state of rushd. How we can have the taqwa? The taqwa means that you are capable to always act upon the command of reason, not upon the command of nafsul ammarati bis-su. ربنا آتنا من لدنك رحمة وهيئ لنا من أمرنا رشدا. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. قل هو الله أحد الله الصمد لم يلد ولم يولد ولم يكن له كفوا أحد. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين وصلى الله على سيدنا ونبينا العبد المؤيد والرسول المسدد المصطفى الأمجد المحمود الأحمد بالقاسم محمد. اللهم صل على محمد وعلى أهل بيته الطيبين الطاهرين المعصومين المكرمين. الصلاة والسلام على أئمة المسلمين سيما أمير المؤمنين علي بن أبي طالب وصلى وسلم على سيدتنا سيدة نساء العالمين فاطمة صلوات الله عليها وصلى وسلم على سبطي الرحمة الحسن والحسين وعلي بن الحسين ومحمد بن علي وجعفر بن محمد وموسى بن جعفر وعلي بن موسى ومحمد بن علي وعلي بن محمد والحسن بن علي والحجة القائم المنتظر. اللهم اجعلنا من أنصاره وأعوانه والمدافعين تحت لوائه. أوصيكم عباد الله ونفسي بتقوى الله ونظم أمركم. I mentioned many times that Imam al-Hussein salawatullah alayhi was trying to make islah within his society. reform, to take people to the sunnat or sirat of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa alihi wasallam. And if you remember that Imam alayhi salam in his wasiyah to his brother Muhammad ibn al-Hanafiyyah said that this is my goal, to do reform, to correct the wrong policy of Bani Umayyah. And he was using the al-amr bil-ma'ruf wal-nahy 'an al-munkar, that he was trying to correct the wrong by mentioning that is the wrong and it should be corrected. You see that? They said in the democracy, the media is the pillar of democracy. Is it right? Why? Because in order to protect the democracy, there should be certain people that they are ready to say something is wrong in the government, something is wrong in the society, so this would help to correct the situation. This is al-amr bil-ma'ruf. Put it aside that nowadays, some medias, they are not al-amr bil-ma'ruf wa nahy al-munkar, they are opposite, al-amr bil-munkar wa nahy an al-ma'ruf. Is that right? But, so, the media is there to do al-amr bil-ma'ruf wa nahy an al-munkar. This is the purpose of media. But the Quran says that every mu'min is responsible for the welfare and prosperity of his society. وَالْمُؤْمِنُونَ وَالْمُؤْمِنَاتِ بَعْضُهُمْ أَوْلِيَاءُ بَعْضٍ يَأْمُرُونَ بِالْمَعْرُوفِ وَيَنْهَوْنَ عَنِ الْمُنْكَرِ. You have vilayat. When you see something wrong, you have vilayat to do al-amr bil-ma'ruf and nahy al-munkar. You cannot say, oh, this is not your business. If I see something wrong and I say to my brother, yes, you have to say it in the right way, not in the wrong way. Some people, they do al-amr bil-ma'ruf and nahy al-munkar, but in the wrong way. So there would be actually the opposite consequences. You see that Imam al-Hasan and al-Hussein, they were little kid, and when they were somewhere and an old man was doing wuzu and he was wrong, they didn't come to him and say, oh, ya shaykh, an old man, your wuzu is wrong. They said to this man, we want to do the wuzu in front of you, and you see that if our wuzu is right or not. And then when they did the right wuzu, the old man figured out his wuzu was wrong. And he confessed, my wuzu is wrong, your wuzu is right. Thank you very much for correcting the situation. This is the al-amr bil-ma'ruf and nahy al-munkar. But you have the type of al-amr bil-ma'ruf and nahy al-munkar will take people from the siratul mustaqim away. Like, at the time of Imam as-Sadiq, I mentioned this story maybe many times, that someone who had a neighbor, and his neighbor was Christian, and one day this person, it seems that he had questioning for the truth, and he found out Islam is the right path, and he mentioned to his neighbor that he's ready to convey to Islam. And he converted to Islam. And this guy was trying to make this person mu'min of Al Abba in one night. So he said, let's go to the masjid and do the fara'iz and nawafil. I said, okay, let's go. And he kept this person from the actually Zuhr time to the Asr time, and then he said, only a few hours would be for Salat al-Maghrib. Let's ask to stay in the masjid. And he stayed in masjid and said, let's do the Inshallah Rahman Salatul Layl also in the masjid. And then he said, it's good also you have intention the next day we do Inshallah fasting. And, he kept this person the next day in the masjid. And, then they left. And 2 days later, he came to that person, let's go again to the masjid. And no, I'm actually thinking that I have to leave this religion. This religion of some people who have no job, have to be always in the masjid. And so you see that Imam Salawatullah alayhi said, this is the wrong al-amr bil-ma'ruf, ma mu'adda al-kalam, al-amr bil-ma'ruf al-nahy al-munkar. So when you do al-amr bil-ma'ruf wal-nahy al-munkar, you have to do the right thing. I remember there in a book, this book actually was written by the late Mutahhari. It said, there was Salatul Jama'ah, and someone who had no belief in Salatul Jama'ah started to come to Salatul Jama'ah. At that time, many people, mu'min people at that time, were so sensitive about the shaving beard. If you are shaving beard, then, they were saying that you are not the good mu'min. And nowadays, mashallah, we have Maraja says it's okay to shave the beard, okay? But at that time, even if you see in the Tawzih al-Masail in the book of jurisprudence, they said that if you are the barber, it is haram to take the money for shaving the beard. This is what they say. Is that right? So they say it is haram. This is mal al-suht. That's haram money. Okay? So this person came to the masjid for Salatul Jama'ah for the first time, and he continued to come. One of the musallin, the people who were doing salat in the first row, people doing salat in the first row, they think that they are better than ours. I'm not saying about here, okay? I'm just trying. Because here, mashallah, the first row would be rotated by many people. No, but if you go in some countries, you see that as they are owning that spot, you cannot sit on the spot. Even he is late, this is his place. You have, to respect this. And let me give you another story that, one person, he said, for 30 years I was going to Salatul Jama'ah, and every time I was in the first row, and my place was well known to other people. One day I was late, so I was not able to go to the first row, so I had to go to the back row. And I felt ashamed that, this is not right. Then I figured out, for 30 years, maybe I did salat for showing off, for riyah. So I repeated all of this 30 years of my Salatul Jama'ah. So that's the issue that, ikhlas is so important. That's why it is recommended that in every salat, you don't forget to recite Surah Al-Ikhlas. If you recite in the first rakat Surah Al-Kawthar, recite in the second rakat Surah Al-Ikhlas, in order to remind constantly yourself that you have to get the state of ikhlas every day in every salat. So, I wanted just to talk about the, this issue that Imam Salawatullah alayhi was trying to do al-amr bil-ma'ruf wal-nahy al-munkar, to do the correction or islah. But al-amr bil-ma'ruf wal-nahy al-munkar, in order to do it accordingly, we have to have the state of rushd. Because if we don't have the state of rushd, that how we do al-amr bil-ma'ruf wal-nahy al-munkar, then there would be wrong consequences. This person who was sitting in the first row of the Salatul Jama'ah, when he noticed that someone is coming to Salatul Jama'ah in the third row and his beard is shaved in front of people, actually he grabbed the shirt of this person. He said, how come you are coming to Salatul Jama'ah and you are committing this sin that you are shaving your beard in front of people? This is not the way of al-amr bil ma'ruf wa nahy anil munkar. That's why we say we need the state of rushd. How to do al-amr bil ma'ruf wa nahy anil munkar. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to help us to have the state of rushd in everything, including when we are doing al-amr bil ma'ruf wa nahy anil munkar to our community, to our family members. As I said, one of the reason that when we say to people, do the right thing, because they are noticing that we are not doing the right thing that we are preaching. That's what the Quran says. لَمَا تَقُولُونَ مَا لَا تَفْعَلُونَ. If I say to my kid, don't drive the car while you are actually the phone is in your hand, you are texting. You cannot text while you are driving. And if he notices that I'm doing the same, then my word would not be effective anymore. Is that right? Yeah. If I say to my kid, don't lie, and then I say to my kid when somebody called me, say I am not here. So this is the lying. Sometimes that's the question, that in lying or in talking, do you have to talk according to the expectation of the person you are talking to, or no? Remember, this is the example. They say, if you are saying to your son, tell people who are coming to my house that I'm not available, I'm not there. Then he said, somebody is knocking the door. Is that your dad is here? He said, no, my dad is not here. Dad said, but Dad, you were here. He said, no, but I'm not in the home. I'm in the garage. So the garage is different from the home. So I'm not lying. So the question is that when the person asking you, is that your dad is here, is he including the garage in the house, or no? He's actually, he thinks only about the house, not about the garage. So that's sometimes the question that when you are answering the people, should you answer the people according to their expectations or no? So sometimes the tawriya will come here. They say, sometimes that tawriya means that, you are saying something, but you mean something else. I'm not talking about this now, but in general, brothers and sisters, we have to know that if we preach the goodness, we have to act upon the goodness first. And inshallah, we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that we would be among sadiqeen and siddiqeen. Inshallah. Sadiq is not only, just saying the truth. Siddiq means you are acting upon the truth, inshallah rahman. Allahumma salli ala Sayyidina Muhammad wa ala ali Sayyidina Muhammad kama sallaita ala Sayyidina Ibrahim wa ala ali Sayyidina Ibrahim innaka Hamidun Majid. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Qul huwa Allahu ahad, Allahu samad, lam yalid wa lam yulad wa lam yakul lahu kufuwan ahad. أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله. أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله. أشهد أن عليا أمير المؤمنين ولي الله. أشهد أن عليا أمير المؤمنين حجة الله. حي على الصلاة، حي على الصلاة، حي على الفلاح، حي على الفلاح، حي على خير العمل، حي على خير العمل. قد قامت الصلاة، قد قامت الصلاة. الله أكبر، الله أكبر. لا إله إلا الله. الله أكبر. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين، الرحمن الرحيم، مالك يوم الدين. إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين. اهدنا الصراط المستقيم، صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. يسبح لله ما في السماوات وما في الأرض، الملك القدوس العزيز الحكيم. والذي بعث في الأميين رسولا منهم يتلو عليهم آياته ويزكيهم ويعلمهم الكتاب والحكمة وإن كانوا من قبل لفي ضلال مبين. وآخرين منهم لما يلحقوا بهم وهو العزيز الحكيم. ذلك فضل الله يؤتيه من يشاء والله ذو الفضل العظيم. مثل الذين حملوا التوراة ثم لم يحملوها كمثل الحمار يحمل أسفارا. بئس مثل القوم الذين كذبوا بآيات الله والله لا يهدي القوم الظالمين. قل يا أيها الذين هادوا إن زعمتم أنكم أولياء لله من دون الناس فتمنوا الموت إن كنتم صادقين ولا يتمنونه أبدا بما قدمت أيديهم والله عليم بالظالمين. قل إن الموت الذي تفرون منه فإنه ملاقيكم ثم تردون إلى عالم الغيب والشهادة فينبئكم بما كنتم تعملون. يا أيها الذين آمنوا إذا نودي للصلاة من يوم الجمعة فاسعوا إلى ذكر الله وذروا البيع ذلكم خير لكم إن كنتم تعلمون. فإذا قضيت الصلاة فانتشروا في الأرض وابتغوا من فضل الله واذكروا الله كثيرا لعلكم تفلحون. وإذا رأوا تجارة أو لهوا انفضوا إليها وتركوك قائما. قل ما عند الله خير من اللهو ومن التجارة والله خير الرازقين. الله أكبر. ربنا فاغفر لنا ذنوبنا وكفر عنا سيئاتنا وتوفنا مع الأبرار. ربنا اغفر لي ولوالدي وللمؤمنين يوم يقوم الحساب. الله أكبر. سبحان ربي العظيم وبحمده. سمع الله لمن حمده. الله أكبر. سبحان ربي الأعلى وبحمده. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. سبحان ربي الأعلى وبحمده. الله أكبر. بحول الله وقوته يقوم وأقعد. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين. إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين. اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. قل هو الله أحد الله الصمد لم يلد ولم يولد ولم يكن له كفوا أحد. الله أكبر. سبحان ربي العظيم وبحمده. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. الله أكبر. ربنا آتنا هيئ لنا من أمرنا رشدا ربنا هب لنا من أزواجنا وذرياتنا قرة أعين واجعلنا للمتقين إماما. الله أكبر. سبحان ربي الأعلى وبحمده. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. سبحان ربي الأعلى وبحمده. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. الله أكبر. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. السلام عليك أيها النبي ورحمة الله وبركاته. السلام علينا وعلى عباد الله الصالحين. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر.
إن الله وملائكته يصلون على النبي يا أيها الذين آمنوا صلوا عليه وسلموا تسليما.
الله الرحمن الرحيم. إلهي عظم البلاء وبرح الخفاء وانكشف الغطاء وانقطع الرجاء وضاقت الأرض ومنعت السماء وأنت المستعان وإليك المشتكى وعليك المعول في الشدة والرخاء. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد أولي الأمر الذين فرضت علينا طاعتهم وعرفتنا بذلك منزلتهم ففرج عنا بحقهم فرجا عاجلا قريبا كلمح البصر أو هو أقرب. يا محمد يا علي يا علي يا محمد اكفياني فإنكما كافيان وانصراني فإنكما ناصران. يا مولانا يا صاحب الزمان الغوث 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 أدركني 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 الساعة 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 العجل العجل العجل. يا أرحم الراحمين حق محمد وآله الطيبين الطاهرين.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. إن الله وملائكته يصلون على النبي يا أيها الذين آمنوا صلوا عليه وسلموا تسليما. الله أكبر الله أكبر. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله. أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله. أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله. أشهد أن عليا أمير المؤمنين ولي الله. أشهد أن عليا أمير المؤمنين حجة الله. حي على الصلاة حي على الصلاة حي على الفلاح حي على الفلاح حي على خير العمل حي على خير العمل. قد قامت الصلاة قد قامت الصلاة. الله أكبر الله أكبر. لا إله إلا الله.
الله أكبر. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الله أكبر. سمع الله لمن حميده. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. بحمد الله وقوته يقوم ويقعد. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الله أكبر. رب أدخلني مدخل صدق وأخرجني مخرج صدق واجعل لي من لدنك سلطانا نصيرا. الله أكبر. سمع الله لمن حمده. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. بحول الله وقوته يقوم وأقعد. الله أكبر. سمع الله لمن حمده. الله أكبر. أقوم وأقعد. الله أكبر. سمع الله لمن حمده. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر.
ملائكته يصلون على النبي يا أيها الذين آمنوا صلوا عليه وسلموا تسليما.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. اللهم قل لوليك الحسن بن الحسن صلواتك عليه وعلى آبائه في هذه الساعة وفي كل ساعة وليا وحافظا وقائدا وناصرا ودليلا معينا حتى تسكنه أرضك طوعا وتمتعه بها طويلا. صلوا على محمد وآل محمد.
اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد.
Please recite the Surah Fatiha for all Marhumin and Marhumat, especially Abdul Hussain, who was the father of Maulana Shahinshah Naqvi, Najmuddin Tawarsi, Haider Raza, Shujat Ali, Ali Muhammad, Kamil Dedi, and all other Marhumin and Marhumat. Please recite the Surah Fatiha. Please recite 5 Tamama Jibu for especially Brother Raza, our Zarin in Iraq, especially Maulana Sharif Hussaini. Please recite 5 times Aman Jibu follow Maulana.
من يجيب المضطر إذا دعاه ويكشف السوء يجعلكم خلفاء الأرض أإله مع الله قليلا ما تذكرون. أمن يجيب المضطر إذا دعاه ويكشف السوء يجعلكم خلفاء الأرض أإله مع الله قليلا ما تذكرون. أمن يجيب المضطر إذا دعاه ويكشف السوء يجعلكم خلفاء الأرض أإله مع الله قليلا ما تذكرون. أمن يجيب المضطر إذا دعاه ويكشف السوء يجعلكم خلفاء الأرض أإله مع الله قليلا ما تذكرون. أمن يجيب المضطر إذا دعاه ويكشف السوء يجعلكم خلفاء الأرض أإله مع الله قليلا ما تذكرون. صلوات الله.
السلام عليك يا عبد الله، السلام عليك ابن رسول الله، السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. السلام عليكم محمد المصطفى صلى الله عليه وسلم، السلام عليك علي المرتضى عليه السلام.